realized, case reflection is something which comes from our heart. So there could be, problems when you translate it from your mother tongue into English. Then all the nurse candidates submitted their case reflection in English. I don't know why. They were given the option, yet they submitted their CR in English. Now, coming to the pass percentage, 201 candidates were doctors, pass percentage 92. 62 were nurses, pass percentage 59. See, this is too much. We should be thinking about this. And previously I had worked out the percentage of marks scored by the doctors and nurses. It was 64 point some for doctors and 62 point something for nurses. So, the when it was offline classes and offline examination, their marks, the average marks were so close together. But now you see the difference in pass percentage, 59 versus 92. We should really be thinking about this fact. After all, you see, nurses are an important component of palliative care practice. And if they cannot get a pass percentage, we should be thinking what's wrong. Now, the case reflection in July batch. See, the plagiarism in case reflection was almost nil, whereas it was a very serious issue before the offline course. This, I think, it is the result of the center coordinators' involvement. The center coordinators started going through the CR before forwarding it to IAPC. And I feel after the starting of online course, the center coordinators are less burdened now. Why? Before, they had to go through all the theory section marks of their candidates who had registered into their course. Now it is not like that. All the things come to center, and Nisha distributes it to all the center coordinators. So you see, the burden on them is less in evaluating the theory sessions. So I think they get more time to go through the case reflection. So the plagiarism case reflection was almost nil. Whereas this was the case in former. This was a slide which I had presented in the last conference in Assam. See, some of the faculty very faithfully going through the CR and giving opinions like CR 11 and CR 31, very similar. Both are good, but someone has copied it from another. CR 31, CR 51, same policy, innovations, identical wording. CR 21 and 61, identical, no difference in wording. 61 and 53, identical, even the references are the same. We used to get several, but this time, no, nothing, no mention about plagiarism. So, because of the problems we faced in the July session, some changes, modifications we brought out in the December session. One, that we asked the centers to arrange facility for candidates to appear for their online exam at their respective centers. So they were all, the Wi-Fi was provided by the center. So now no question of remote centers having poor connectivity. And center coordinators and supporting staff were present to monitor the examination process and tackle any issues which arose. And candidates were allowed only to use desktop or laptop. So no question of iPhone, iPad, and all the other issues. And all these measures help to improve the exam process, and also very little of technological and network issues. So, but one sad aspect about the December 2020 batch, information from TCS. 178 doctors had registered for the course, but only 133 attended the exam. 91 nurses had registered, but only 49 attended the online exam. So we cannot actually believe this. And we are sincerely hope this is not true. But Nisha says she has not received any information about this poor turnout from the center coordinators. See, a large percentage of dropouts. And has this really occurred? If so, are the center coordinators aware about this? And if so, what is the reason? What is the advantages of this online courses? More coverage, but we are not in the candidate number of candidates taking up the course has not increased. Maybe this is because of COVID related issues, and after the COVID settles, maybe we will get more candidates. 2007, 12 active centers. By 2020, 37 centers, and we are receiving applications to start more centers. Definitely the region wise presence is very good now. Bihar has 2 centers, Uttarakhand 2, Chandigarh 2, UP 2, Assam, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. So it is a good point that more and more states are having new centers now. And again, it's easy to arrange a single uniform class. And it is less expense. We don't have to pay TA for the staff. So many, yeah, really expense saving. No faculty travel, food expense, and the best faculty is available for online class. And even youngsters are taking classes now. These are the advantages. Now coming to the disadvantages, lack of individual attention. And this is adversely affecting the candidates, especially the nurse candidates. I feel this is an important issue. And the candidates don't get much opportunity to clarify their doubts. You see, our schedule is tightly packed. And even though we might give 5 minutes for clarification of doubts, and so many, may not be feeling that free to come out openly and clarify to get their doubts clarified. And even we have a doubt whether the candidates are really involved, because they cut off their video, they cut off their audio, so we are not sure whether they are attending this at all. And the way forward, see, online classes are good, but I believe each center should have at least a half-day session for nurses wherein their doubts can be clarified. And this could be online or classroom sessions, but I would prefer classroom sessions. And for nurses, you see, even the procedures are shown online now. So suppose in this half day period, if the procedures could be shown to them directly, I feel it would be better. And then again, coming down, I really feel the tone, not the tone, the severity, or I don't know the real word, the theory sessions have gone up. See, this is merely not even a certificate course for in palliative care. This is a certificate course for essentials in palliative care. And some of the classes that, it is so hi-fi, coming out with evidence-based medicine, and just coming out with printouts from textbooks, figures from textbooks, tables from textbooks. Do you expect a novice coming to know what palliative care needs all this stuff? And do you really believe that nurses understand all this? I don't think so. And again, feedback is not given properly, though Nisha is sending a Google form. See, they give something written, and some of the nurse candidates and dentist candidates, we know, we have personally called up and asked them, and then they say we couldn't understand anything. So we asked them, then why didn't you give it in writing? Oh, that when you ask something, we have to say it is good. So that is a problem. So see, you see, so we arranged a meeting for all the nurse candidates after the July session. And you said, I was thoroughly disappointed. Only 7 turned up. And those 7 were all MSc nursing or even PhD. None of the other nurses turned up. So again, that was a failure. Now, separate questions for doctors and nurses. That's what is followed now since the online examination. See, if there are 5 questions, only 2 are common. And those are the basics. The 3 questions are different for doctors, different for nurses. So now, you cannot say that the questions are difficult. That is why the nurses are failing. And now we have candidates even from the Gulf countries. So that's the advantage of online sessions. And I think the number will soon increase. But the thing is, we cannot monitor their online exams session. So one way out is, if some of you know a good center in Gulf or Abu Dhabi or Qatar, where you have some contact, and inform us, maybe we will interact with them and ask them whether they can arrange a space where our candidates can take up the online exam. And now, case reflection, nurses are allowed to write in their mother tongue, but they are not giving it. They are still giving it in English. In English. So these are the points which I have to mention. And lastly, but not the least, IAPC Academic Center expresses our profound gratitude to TCS for helping us conducting the online exam, and especially to Dr. Kalpana, who was the person who interacted with TCS and got this program on board. So my time is over now. So it is open for discussion. You are free to present your points, and as far as possible, we will try to accept which we can accept, and I will try to give my responses or replies to your queries. Thank you very much, Sushma, for arranging this, and thank you for all the coordinators who have come to give their views and opinions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the nice talk. Now, our next speaker is Dr. Sukanya Mitra. I would like to invite ma'am to share her experiences about palliative care as a coordinator. I would like to introduce ma'am. Ma'am is the professor and head of anesthesia in Government Medical College and Hospital, Chandigarh. She is the president of ISA Chandigarh branch. She has won many academic awards, including Pain Research Fellowship at Yale University, USA, Pain Education Award at International Association, ICMR International Award, ISSM Research Grant Award, and ISA Award. She has more than 100 scientific publications to her credit, and she has been the author of many invited book chapters in the books. Ma'am, kindly you may start your talk.
Thank you, Shagupta. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good evening. I thank the organizers for inviting me to share my experience as a coordinator. So I come from Chandigarh, Government Medical College and Hospital, Chandigarh. So this is our hospital in the city of Chandigarh. Our journey started in the year 2009 when I first came in contact with Professor Sushma Bhatnagar while doing a pain course in Delhi. I was struck by her empathy and her service for the cancer patients. And immediately after coming back to Chandigarh, I started working on the availability of oral morphine for cancer patients in the pain clinic of our department, and was finally successful in making it available since 2009. Madam invited us to participate in CTC2 course in 2018, and since then we started as a palliative care team. So in this course, she invited two of us, myself and Dr. Vanita Ahuja from my department, the two doctors and two nurses, that is Sister Rajni and Sister Harinder, to take training in palliative care. We completed the course in 2018, and then Dr. Naveen Saleen visited our center to deliver a lecture and audit the existing services. He spoke about integrating palliative care and end-of-life care in routine hospital practices. And as you can see from the picture, we had an overwhelming response. And we continued to work as a team in the palliative care. So let us see what are our achievements as a young worker from GMCH. We formally started the course in 2019. However, COVID came, and then our online program started in 2020 and 2021. We have dedicated service as service providers, a service coordinator. We do provide dedicated OPD, 2 days OPD, one on Tuesday, another on Friday. And we have ward rounds for pain and palliative care service with regular follow-up. We are dispensing oral morphine for the cancer patients freely from the hospital. We also have 2 dedicated pain OT for interventional pain procedure. And during the COVID time, we had around the clock pain palliative care services, especially over the telephone for the patients who were away from the hospital. In June 2019, the guidance and motivation of Professor Shushma Bhatnagar, the course was started in GMCH, that is Government Medical College and Hospital, Chandigarh, with 26 participants. It was a big success, and people were interested in doing further courses. In November 2019, Dr. Jeremy Johnson and Dr. Seema Rao came for evaluation, and they again addressed the hospital students, nurses, and the doctors, and we had again a good overwhelming response. Then from 2019, we became the formal course conductor for the certificate course. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic and everything went haywire. So we shifted to the online classes, or with social distancing and other safety measures. We had the lectures in our seminar room, where you can see the participants attending the same. Who are our team members? Well, myself, Dr. Vanita Ahuja, she is the my main companion for conducting this course, both as a course coordinator and also as a course service provider. Also, we have another doctor, Dr. Jasveer Singh, and Sister Harjinder. We also have our round-the-clock resident doctors who are working with us, and we do have a psychologist that is an MPhil student for a pain and palliative care OPD. So far, we have trained 29 doctors, 10 nurses have completed the course, and in the batch of 2021, we have 4 doctors and 4 nurses. The results are yet to be declared. So as an advocacy from Government Medical College, we held an international conference in 2019, where we had a plenary lecture on palliative care. The topic was Because I Matter. We also had a panel discussion on palliative care issues. We held a workshop on pain education for doctors and nurses in the same conference. We presented CTC2 case presentation on ovarian cancer and its challenges in September 2020. And recently, we held an online CME from the Indian Society for Study of Pain, Chandigarh chapter, Interventions for Cancer Pain Management, the Silver Lining. This was addressed by international and national speakers, and was very well taken by all the participants. Now, is it then all hunky-dory, and is it that we are only the half glass, we are full glass full? No, it's not so. We have our own problems also. So we have our own hurdles. As a course coordinator, we often face problem with a bad hospital internet. And one more thing that I had already discussed in the Assam, that it is difficult to get graduate participants because we have only 20 postgraduate MD students in anesthesia, although we have a large number of undergraduate medical and nursing students in our hospital. And as a service coordinator, when COVID pandemic came, our main hurdle was that the nurses trained for palliative care were posted elsewhere. The referrals were decreased.
बताऊं क्या एक्चुअली यहाँ पे ना सेवा बताओ जब एनएनसीसी का शाम का डिनर लंच
End of life care, we do no policy for counseling, but no policy, but counseling is done by the members of the team. There is a need to, we have morphine freely from our institute, but there is need to work on availability of fentanyl patches and tablet methadone, because many patients coming to government hospital are really poor to afford those. We also need to work for starting up 1-year pain and palliative care fellowship program. Residents are managing round the clock services, but only we have one nurse available for the day, and the other 2 trained nurses have been shifted elsewhere. We do not have any home visit team, which is the need of the day. So far, the journey has been full of challenges. It has been exciting and with successes. However, we have miles to go before we sleep. And I thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for beautifully presenting your experiences. Now, I would like to call our next speaker. Our next speaker is Dr. Preeti R. Singhvi. Dr. Preeti Singhvi is the professor and head Department of Palliative Care Medicine, Gujarat Cancer and Research Institute, Ahmedabad. She is the nodal officer, Saurashtra Cancer Care and Research Institute, Rajkot. Ma'am is the member of advisory committee for implementation of NDPS Act at Gujarat by Government of Gujarat. She is the editor of International Journal of Oncological Nursing. She is the course coordinator of IAPC, CCPPM, and CCPPL. Ma'am has more than 35 publications to her credit. I request ma'am to share her experiences.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you for inviting me to present my experience. As all of you are aware about the certificate course in palliative care by Indian Association of Palliative Care, as Madam has already said, it was started in November 2007 with 12 centers across the India, and currently more than 80 centers it has been started. Coming to my center, we have started this course in November 2012. We are doing this course only once a year in November, December batch, and till date we have more than 170 candidates who has received this training. From this 170 candidate, 120 are the doctors, and of which more than approximately 45 are specialists or super specialist candidate, and the nursing staff is only 42. Coming to the achievement, because of this course, it has created a lot of awareness throughout the healthcare system in our institute and the many institute, non-oncological institute which are having in our campus. The other non-oncological institute in our campus is Civil Hospital, Institute of Kidney Disease, Institute of Cardiac Disease, and Spine Disease. So it has created a lot of awareness amongst the our campus. Um, it has because of this course, there is lots of availability of palliative care services at district level. If I say about the Gujarat, more than 20 districts we have trained medical officer or specialists, so we could start the palliative care services because of this course. Other thing regarding faculty development, because of this course we are able to start MD palliative medicine. If I say give the example of ourselves, Dr. Geeta Joshi, myself, and Dr. Bhavna did this course in 2013. Then we became the faculty of this course, so that university has given us the recognized PGT certificate of recognized PG teacher for palliative care. So we could we are able to start MD palliative medicine. So this is great achievement for us, and we are very much thankful to IAPC for this. Coming to the challenges, we are not able to start summer batch because of summer vacation. Overseas teaching institute, so half of the staff is are on the vacation. So this is really a challenge for us, and we are trying hard to start summer batch, but somehow we are till date we are not able to start this. Um, Somehow we are not able to convince the nursing staff, or we are not able to motivate them to do this course. Every time we tried, we made it free for nursing staff. Our institute is spending for nurse, but still we are not able to convince them. Difficulty to have faculty from non-cancer institute. We have trained some faculty, 1 or 2 or maximum 5 faculty from other non-cancer institute are trained, but not more than that. Coming to the suggestion, as Lulu madam said, digital regarding digital platform, I also agree with madam. Digital platform is good, but there are lots of disadvantage of this platform, and I request once COVID pandemic over, the contact session should be in person. It gives some practical exposure to candidate. And I want to share one story. I think in 2018, we had a candidate from Chhattisgarh, and during contact session, they have seen, oh, you have colostomy unit, and you have this tracheostomy patient with tracheostomy, and they said, madam, we have lots of material and we do not know how to use this. So they stay at our center for more days, and they to use all these things. So I think virtual, it is better to have a contact session in person. One suggestion, there is delay in certification. So that's lots of negativity in candidate. Even for this year, student have already started regarding when we will get the certificate. And I think 2-3 candidate still yet to receive that certificate, not because of resubmission of case reflection, but there is no reason why they have not received certificate. They have submitted case reflection, some has submitted resubmitted the case reflection, but I and this create negativity in candidate. So same way, result on hold. Last year we have one oncologist who has done everything properly, but he has not received his result, and there is no reason for this. So this is my suggestion related to certificate. Thank you.
Your nice
Yeah, go ahead, Shagufta. We will discuss at the end.
Yes.
Yes,
We'll
next.
move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Dr. Manoj Raman. Sir is the additional professor at AIIMS Jodhpur. Sir, his area of interest are cardiac anesthesia and pain. He has 53 publications to his credit. He is the Secretary ISA Rajasthan. He is Fellow of Indian Academy of Pain Management and Fellow of National Academy of Medical Sciences. Sir, please share your experiences.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to all. First of all, thanks to the Dr. Lulu, Dr. Shushma ma'am, Dr. Umesh Badani sir, and Dr. Chandni for giving me opportunity to speak about the journey of AIIMS Jodhpur from my eyes. So during this journey, we have some joyful memories. Our journey is also similarly start in January 2018. And I am not from the beginning of the journey. I joined this CTC program in May 2018 under the mentorship of Dr. Shushma and Dr. Charu. Initially, we recruited 2 doctors and 2 nurses from our institute, but later on, we included 2 more nursing staff from our institutes. So that's why we have 6 members from our institute. We had started pain clinic way back in 2018 in month of August, and during this journey, we had conducted LNEC course in August, and in this 40 nursing officers from our institute participated. We are running a very good osteomy clinic that where we are providing dressing to the patients with cancer and non-cancer patients also. We are recognized as the IAPC Center for CE certificate course of essential palliative care, and till date, we are conducted 3 courses. Our first course is physical in November 2019. In that, 37 candidates are registered. Out of that, 6 doctors and 31 nurses. Second course is online, and only 2 doctors are participated in June 2020 batch. And third course is in December 2020. In that, 14 candidates. So till now, we are giving course to the 53 candidates. We had already started 1 year pain and palliative care fellowship at our institute, and we also has 2 ICMR grant extramural project in the pain and palliative care, or especially for home care. But during this journey, we have faced certain challenges, like initially with the availability of morphine, but with the help of discussion with our administrator, medical superintendent, and director, sir, we have sufficient and full availability of morphine tablets with all strengths. Our target is to improve the delivery of palliative care in western part of Rajasthan. We had conducted certain sensitization program to our nursing colleagues and our doctor fellow, and we had create awareness program in the community, and we are also published some article in the media. As we all know that this clinic or this department is run by the Department of Anesthesia, and because of the advancement in the surgical field or in ICU, there is always shortage of manpower for the pain and palliative care, and it is not. It is also because we are getting some less priority than the other department. So during this COVID pandemic hit very badly to our pain and palliative care services. But during this COVID-19, we continued the delivery of morphine to the patients, and we were running the telemedicine OPD, and this is the census of the January of 2019 year, which is also quite exciting because of the COVID pandemic, but we are still running our OPD, and we are dispensing the morphine to the all patient, and we are at the end of year 2020 are getting sufficient amount of number of patient in our OPD. And this is our target census of this year. Till February, we are getting 155 patients in our OPD. Our future goals is to implement the pain and palliative care policy at our institute, and we also wish to institute end of life care policy. We wish to start MD in palliative care in coming years. We are in process to host volunteer training course at our institute, and we are in process to start home care, or it is our wish that we can be a part, or we can implement state level palliative care policy in Rajasthan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the nice talk. Our next speaker is Dr. Sweety Gupta. Dr. Sweety Gupta is Assistant Professor, Department of Radiation.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Sweetie, you are audible.
You are audible, but your slides are not visible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Ma'am, please share your slides. Go to
Yeah.
the share screen.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
A very good evening to all. And at the outset, I would like to thank the organizing committee to give me the opportunity to show the AIMS Rishikesh participation through the eyes of the course coordinators, the journey of the IAPC. So these are the team members. We have 2 nursing officers who have been trained in the CTC and 2 doctors from our institute who have been trained in this CTC course. So our beginning started on from the foundation course in 16 to 20th January 2018 when we were first had our CTC foundation course, and soon after, within a one month, we started our palliative care OPD, which we are running twice a week. This is on Tuesday and Friday in the afternoon sessions. And in the 20 to 24th March 2018, then we had our clinical attachment program. And within 6 months of our attending this CTC program, we were able to have the morphine availability, because during the CTC course, we were trained on how to procure morphine and everything. On between 23rd to 25th August, we had our mentor review. Dr. Aditi Chaturvedi was our mentor during that period, and that we had done. During that, after that, we had our refresher course from 5th to 7th October, in which we had presented our experience and what all we had done during these 7 to 8 months. So this was our beginning of the CTC's training. And then after doing this training, we decided on our areas of work, and we identified that we have to work on 3 main areas. One is our clinical for the patient care, teaching. Apart from us, 4 of us, we wanted that more of should be trained so that we can divide the responsibilities and it should go like a spoke and hub model. And third area where we wanted to improve was our research area. Apart from clinical and teaching, we should have research also, said that because that is the area where the palliative care is still lacking, though we have come a much way forward. So in clinical, we had our outpatient department and an IPD department, inpatient department. Outpatient department, we have our radiation oncology services, and in that area only, we are giving the palliative care OPD also on Tuesday and Friday. In the IPD, we have a 16-bedded radiation oncology ward where, because we do not have a separate palliative care IPD, so their patients are usually admitted in that area only. But mostly about 70 to 80% of the radiation oncology patients are requiring palliative care as a part of their treatment from the outset of the diagnosis. So most of the patients usually are admitted are palliative patients. Apart from that, we are getting other ward referrals also, mainly for the morphine supply, morphine tablets, pain management, and also because we are from the radiation oncology department for the palliative radiotherapy treatment. Also, we have an interventional pain clinic, which is run by the anesthesia department, and they have started their DM courses in pain medicine also. Now, coming to the training part, we have conducted 2 palliative care symposium till now, which are basically, we had done it for the nursing officers. Also, I missed with this one. We had done one LNAC course in the month of October 2019. Then we have done 3 IPC certificate courses, in which we have trained the doctors from All Indian Institute of Medical Sciences, Rishikesh, nursing officers, and the National Health Mission, the doctors from the peripheries of the Uttarakhand region. We are taking care of them, and they come for the training at our institute. And by the God's grace and the help of Professor Sushma ma'am, and we have started our IAPC clinical training program also. And from 18th February to 1st March 2021, we conducted our first clinical training program, and this was a 10 days attachment program. And really, it was a very wonderful experience for us as well as the participants. And as we told, that research is a main area where we wanted to focus on. And apart from the extramural projects, the intramural projects, the retrospective studies in the palliative care, we have also, one of our candidates is doing a PhD in palliative care. Now, during the COVID times, because whatever the momentum we had gained during the period of 2019 till March 21st of 2020, there was a slight jerk in our work. But still, we continued with our clinical work. What we faced, the OPD became less because of a complete lockdown. Our IPD also got affected because patients were not able to travel to us. But how did we manage this show? We started more of our teleconsultation services. I say we were not able to provide telemedicine or complete palliative care to 100% of our patients, but still we managed the show and tried to take care of all these things. And apart from that, we maintained an uninterrupted supply of morphine during this period. Now, the scope of work, or I can say what are the challenges we are facing, is that the training required for the doctors in the peripheries, as already has been told by Dr. Lulu also, that doctors are not clearing their IPC certificate program, certificate course also. Because their case reflection, mostly they are not able to do. We have trained around 40 doctors IPC certificate course from the peripheries, but till now, only 17 have qualified for the clinical attachment program. It is basically for the doctors who are posted in periphery. Either there is a lack of motivation, or they are not able to understand what exactly is the means. They require more of training or more of theory classes before going up for a case reflection form. That is my perception. Then telemedicine should now play a very important, because COVID has taught us a big result that telemedicine is required in palliative care, and we need to strengthen in that area, because if we are not able to go physically, or patient is not able to physically come to us, this is the area where we can definitely improve on, because Uttarakhand is located in a hilly region and telemedicine is going to help us a lot in this areas. But yes, net connectivity issue will be again a problem. Home care services, we have one Gangaprem hospice in nearby, around 12 kilometers from AIIMS Rishikesh, but we still require more of home care services, because if the patients are not, so we require more of volunteers and social workers in this. Apart from this, we require more of psychosocial support programs. Patients' financial issues, psychosocial, because we are taking care of the physical problems of the patient, but this still, I feel that this area is lacking on our part, that is the psychosocial support programs. So I would end my talk by that it's just the beginning, but much more is to be done from all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for the nice presentation. Our next speaker is Dr. Kalpana Balakrishnan. Ma'am is the professor and head Department of Anesthesia, Pain and Palliative Care, Regional Cancer Center, Cancer Institute, Adyar. Ma'am has set up Department of Palliative Care at Adyar Cancer Hospital. She is in charge of Mahavir Ashay, a 30-bedded hospice. She is conducting the IAPC certificate course in palliative care since 2016. Ma'am, please share your experiences with us.
Good evening, thank you. Now, I've been asked to speak about the challenges, success, and feedback as a course coordinator for palliative, this certificate course in palliative care. As we are already, quite late in time, I'll just go right into it. From Tamil Nadu, since 2007, we have been having some centers who've been a part of the IAPC course. That was Jeevodaya Hospice and Sudarshana Palliative Care from 2007. Lakshmi Pain and Palliative Care started the course in 2018. We ourselves started quite late in 2016. We started conducting the course. Briefly, in between, two doctors, Dr. Azhar Hussain and Dr. Ilangovan, conducted the course on their own behalf and trained some 35 to 40 candidates. In total, if you see that in Tamil Nadu, we have trained almost 1,023 candidates since the beginning of the course. Now, where are these people? Are they still, doing palliative care? Do we have any idea of what is happening to them? That is not something that we have a feedback on. We do not really know what is happening. Now, these were the numbers of people who are trained in various places. One is highest numbers were from Jeevodaya Hospice. So what are the challenges in this? To interest the students, to make them come for the course itself is something of a challenge. To get people who are not working in our own hospital from the outside in the city itself, a lot of people do not even know much about what palliative care is for them to be interested to come. So I think we need much more advocacy about what palliative care is before MBBS students start coming up for the course. And then consistently ensuring good quality classes is a challenge. But I think to a certain extent that has been surmounted by the fact that we have this online classes. But like Lulu Madam says, sometimes it is knowledge intensive that it may not be really reaching everyone in the class. This is just a certificate course in essentials of palliative care. The perspective of what a palliative care is should be brought across to them before we go into the details of what has been achieved in the field. And other problem that I find, especially in my places, ensuring consistency in attendance of the candidates. Suddenly they'll have something in the OPD or something happening. If they are the local students, they will just go out for half an hour. Then I think even if they go for a short time, they should not be given attendance and should not be allowed to take the exam. And then, like I said, we do not know what happened to these students. Are they practicing? And to a certain extent in our hospital, we get MCH students from various places, MCH and DM students from all over the country. Then they go back to their countries. So they are actually not staying back in the state itself for them to continue to, be in the state to take the message of palliative care forward. And I think having the same class for nurses and doctors is a major challenge. We dilute the classes for the nurses, and we also don't give enough attention to the doctors. So or for that matter, even nurses. So this has been spoken about, and we need to certainly do something more about this. So what are the successes? I think from IAPC's perspective itself, it's a major achievement to have gone on for over a decade to consistently hold these classes all across the country. I think that's a big kudos to the IAPC. For us as centers to have students for the class for so many years consistently is also an achievement. And then I myself personally think that I mandated that every oncological student who comes to the institute should have a palliative care course, go through this course before they can graduate. We have made it. And then if that happens in every oncological hospital, every cancer center, that will be a great way to ensure that every oncologist is aware of what palliative care is. Some of the suggestions I would think are we do need some sort of quality control. I think some of it is achieved by having the classes online. But when there are centers at different places, we have the IAPC does share its palliative care PPT. Nobody has a control on what is taught and how similarly it is, whether there is a quality control. But I think it was discussed, having online class, surmounts that. Certainly, I think we should have different classes for doctors and nurses. That's the only way to go. Ensure that they have different classes and teach them what is essential and really make it tough for the doctors. I feel that the doctors in our institute at least seem to go through the course like a song, and they study for maybe one day and then just get through the exams, which is not okay. They should do much more and spend more time in palliative care, I think, before they can get through, or they should not treat it so lightly, is my feeling. One way of doing it, I feel, is mandating Part B for both doctors and nurses to be eligible for certification. Some amount of clinical knowledge is very essential. Just this book knowledge may not always be, all-encompassing. Case reflections are a problem. I think Lulu Madam went into them in great detail. They are often not of good quality, and very often I don't think they're much of a reflection in it. They are just, over a rota of period. Last year, somebody does, these people go through it and change it a little bit, and then they submit. It's my feeling. Though whenever that happens in our own institute, I try to make them go back and do it, but it's not always practical to do that. Feedback of the students that we got, some of them I'll share here. They said that they loved the communication workshop, but this is just a role play. What happens in real life? They are a little worried about how they will, manage the patients. So again, an online class wherein they'll actually come would be useful. A contact class would be certainly useful rather than only theory. This was shared by one of our other coordinators who said that they got a feedback saying that I do say that the course inspired me a lot about palliative care. However, does it give me the confidence to practice it? They say no, because it's more theoretical. He goes on to say that though he's a fairly senior man, it's very challenging. He finds it quite daunting. And he says that graduates and dentists, how will they able to be, practice the concepts that they learn? They feel that more online, more hands-on training is mandated before we should certify. A lot of people also said that spirituality, though they got some idea, they felt that they needed much more training. So those were my thoughts about the successes. I have not gone into the details of my own department. I was asked to speak on the successes and challenges. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your views with us. Our next speaker is Dr. Prabha Seshachar. Ma'am is the National Faculty and Course Head of IAPC courses held at Kidwai Cancer Institute. She is the faculty for East Cancer Module for Palliative Care. Ma'am is the faculty for Karnataka State Palliative Care Policy Program. She has conducted a number of training programs in palliative care for doctors, nurses, social workers, counselors, and volunteers. She has won the Best Paper Award in International Palliative Care Conference. She authors many articles, modules, and chapters in palliative care. She is also a community worker. Ma'am, I would request you to please share your experiences with us. Our next speaker is Dr. M.S. Biji. Ma'am is the National Faculty of IAPC since 2014. She is conducting IAPC courses, BCCPN since 2011. She has many publications in national and international journals. She has received Kerala State E-Governance Award 2016-17 for E-Palliative Initiative at MCC. Ma'am, please share your experiences with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words. And I thank IAPC for giving me this opportunity. So I come from Malabar Cancer Center, and my views about the IAPC course, which I have been conducting since 2011. So it was started in 2011, and since then it is a regular program of Malabar Cancer Center, which is a tertiary cancer center in the northern part of Kerala. And we have been getting good support from our administration for organizing this program. Good support means really because our director, Dr. Sadishan B, he insists that every DNB candidate and fellowship candidate of our oncology team and the residents, they should compulsorily undergo this course before they leave the institute. And not only that, many of our faculties have also undergone this course. So if you see the statistics from 2011 to 2020, we have almost trained 159 candidates, around 91 doctors, 68 nurses, and total of 159 candidates. And out of which 16 have not completed the course. That is one drawback. But the reason for that is like either they get some post-graduation seat, or some of them, I think they had gone for civil service exam preparation, and some nurses were transferred out. So those were the reason why they couldn't take up the exam, though they had attended the lecture classes and all. And among the remaining 143 candidates, I should be very proud to say that we have had 100% pass for all those candidates. And it's only because of the support we get from our administration and the entire team of my institute who have been helping me, because I'm the only palliative care doctor there, but I have an excellent team helping me out for all the activities there. And so these are the team members. I mean, these are the candidates who have passed out from my institute since June 2012. This is Stella ji taking sessions for our candidates. 2014 batch, 15 batch, 2 batches. Then we had 2016 batch, 17 batch, 18 batch, 19. And this is the offline exam which we were having earlier. And latest, this is our the recent February 28th, the online mode exam which we had. So the challenges which I would put here is the dropouts. I had just mentioned that we had 16 candidates whom we could not make them take the exam, but I told you the reasons were a bit valid. So, and I'm not able to bring them in to take this exam. One reason is that usually once you finish the course, if you want to take the exam, you have to take it within 1 year of finishing the course. If it goes beyond that, you will have to, pay the additional fees for that. So most of them, they don't get interested to write the exam after that. And second challenge which I have found is that the standard of case reflection. So each and every candidate who submits a case reflection to me, we have to keep revising it, read it again and again, and keep telling them what are the what all things they have to improve in that. So sometimes we give them 2 to 3 times the correction of their case reflection before we actually give it to the IAPC for final correction. And another challenge is good faculties. Definitely, we need very good faculties to take classes for them. And so travel of these faculties from a little bit far off places. My institute actually is in a bit of interior. It's not in the city or in the, so because it's an interior place, it's difficult for many of the faculties to reach my institute. But the online mode has definitely solved this problem, I feel. Because the online mode, like most of the speakers had told, that is the best unified way of conducting this course. We get the best faculties for all the centers, and candidates can definitely attend all the sessions from wherever they want. That is no problem saying we couldn't come early because we missed the bus or the train or whatever it is. But like Lulu madam said and Kalpana madam said, we have to be the coordinators have to be more careful, seeing that they are attending the classes. And the uniformity in the examination, the whole of India gets one paper for the nurses and one paper for the doctors. So I think that is wonderful. So actually, I am very much convinced on this online mode of teaching. Suggestions, like I earlier told, the case reflection, definitely we have to correct it again and again. There is regional coordinators before we send it to IAPC. And like Kalpana madam also told this, that some of my nurses have told this to me, that they find it a little difficult to understand some of the sessions because of the standard. So do we need to set a standard suitable for both of them to be, understand it? Or like Kalpana madam said, either separate class for doctors and separate class for nurses. If it's so, it's wonderful. Another thing is the case reflection, because this time we have told we can write it in the regional language. That is also an excellent effort taken by IAPC. So definitely a very big thanks to Sushma madam, Lulu madam, Kalpana madam and the TCS team, and definitely IAPC coordinator Nisha, and all the regional coordinators who have been working effortlessly here to bring this, the quality of our IAPC course from good to better to, I think, even to the best. And that teamwork, we all know, palliative care is definitely it's a teamwork. So together we'll definitely achieve more and more, and we'll keep the quality of IAPC courses up to the mark which everyone, the world expects. Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice to know the views of all the course coordinators about their success stories and their challenges. We have definitely learned from their experiences. At last, I would request Sushma ma'am to speak a few words and enlighten us. Ma'am, please speak a few words.
See, shall I reply to some of the queries put across by the coordinators?
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sukanya, she has not made many comments about the course. Dr. Preeti made a comment that let us go back to offline. I don't think, continuing online classes is really good, because, I really feel the candidates are getting the best of faculty. But only thing I feel, the tenure, the hardness of the sessions should come down. It is, some of the sessions are so tough. They're so tough that, nurses really find it difficult to understand what is being mentioned there. So, so then what we follow in IPM is that, we start with some of the common topics like introduction to palliative care, spirituality, that's all common class. But when it comes to end of life care, respiratory symptom, GIT symptom, we bifurcate. The doctors have class in one room, the nurses have class in another room. And these sessions are handled by nurses themselves, because they actually know the level of knowledge of the nurses, so they will be able to teach them in a better manner. And even coming to EOL care, the nurses need not know everything about EOL care as what the doctors should know. What they should know is a different thing. So if you can arrange nurses to take these classes for them, that would be better. Even in this online session, we can have like that, 2 Zoom sessions at one time, just bifurcation. Doctors go into one room, the nurses go into another room. That is one suggestion from me. And the CR and delay in certificate, and see, the delay in certificate mainly comes because the case reflections en masse go to one faculty, and these faculty are not simply sitting at home. They are not simple housewives. They are doing their work. So they are doing this time as an extra work. So they sometimes take time. You have to understand that. And sometimes, and suppose we have sent 10 CR to one doctor, and she goes through them and it comes back 4 of them failed, and the next time these 4 have to go back to the same person and then again come back. So there is need of time. So the problem is not with myself or Nisha, but the problem is with those people who fail in their CRs. That's the main problem. That is the main reason why the result gets delayed. Dr. Manoj also didn't make any comments. Dr. Sweetie also didn't make. Kalpana also mentioned about the nature of the classes, and she also suggested having different classes for doctors and nurses. And CR she also mentioned. And Biji's main problem was dropout, but that's a very meager number considering the dropouts in the present 2021 February exam. It is, I just wonder why these doctors and nurses have not turned up for the examination. And again, if you have some other, and I personally feel, online classes we should continue, but then at least a half a day session where it should be mandatory for all the nurses to come and optional for the doctors to come. And then that would be better. Half day will do. And that will not be of much expense for the IAPC also. And then again, at this session, all the doubts can be clarified. And then the center coordinators need not think, oh, I am not proficient enough in all the topics. But you see, this is just a certificate course in essentials of palliative care. That essentials we all know. We may not know evidence-based medicine or what is the most recent thing. But that's not what the novices need. They just need practical things about how to practice basic palliative care. That I think we will be able to clarify all the doubts. And suppose for this half-day session, not only the nurse coordinator, the course coordinator, but a nurse faculty should also be compulsorily be present, because she is the person who knows what is the knowledge level of the nurses and what they should be knowing to practice basic palliative care. So these are the points which I have noted down, and I think I have answered. If there are some more, I will be glad to answer.
Thank you, ma'am, for clarifying the doubts. Our one of our speakers was left, Dr. Prabha Seshachar.
Yeah.
Can we? Can I
yes.
comment?
Yes, ma'am.
So you finish, Prabha, fast, and then I'll comment. No problem.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm so sorry for what has happened till now because of some technical glitch, or I'm not such an expert at this. But a very, very good evening to one and all. And I'm extremely thankful for all the organizers to give me such a wonderful opportunity to share my journey as a center coordinator. And one more thing is I must shared my heartfelt gratitude to the great help that I had in Kidwai, that is Saroja, who's been a course coordinator, and she's actually the pillar.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
Yes.
Your slides are not visible. You need to share once again.
Okay. Let me just see. I don't know why these things are happening. Can you see my slides?
No, ma'am.
No, not at all.
No.
I don't know why these things are happening. Can I again go to launch meeting? Can you all see me?
Yes, we can see you. See you, ma'am.
Yeah, but why is that my slides are not being? Okay, if it's that bad, can I just speak offhand? Are you okay with that?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you share screen?
I'm sharing the screen. One second. Okay, okay. All right. Now?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see. Fine, fine, fine. All right. Okay. So, without wasting much time, let me just get on journey. Now, our journey with the IPC course started very, very early in the year of 2007, where at that time, in fact, the figure 36 was shown there because we had actually more than 70 people registered at that time. And we felt that there were too many, and because a lot of people were very enthusiastic to do this course, but we took just a handful of 36 because we were also very apprehensive. And I was one of the students at that time in 2007. Then later on, I took on probably in 2009, 2010, I became the course coordinator and Dr. Saraswati was the center coordinator. So if you just go to see that every year, both June and November batch, we had an adequate number of people enrolling for the course, and it was very good response. And we also had, of course, in 2017, a lot of things happened. We couldn't conduct it. But now in 2020, because of COVID, it's a sad thing that the numbers just drastically dropped down. And we couldn't conduct in July. We could conduct it only in December, November and December. We also had a good number of people participating for Part B. Good response was there. So totally we had 456 people for Part A and 54 people for Part B. Both MBBS, MD, BDS, MDS people enrolled for it. And we had nurses, BSc nurses and MSc nurses. Yeah, so if I just go to see some of the feedback from the participants, of course, majority of them did find the course very, very useful. And everybody felt it that this should have been part of our undergraduate curriculum. They suddenly felt if this was taught to us from the beginning, maybe, we would have probably, inculcated the whole, the whole discipline of what the doctor should be, or the way we need to communicate and how we need to read the patient's mind before we voice out on our own. See, I think that is what the feedback was, to get the doctors in the undergraduate level to learn about how to communicate, how to, look at the patient holistically. That is so essential. And that is what I got a good feedback from my students. And they also felt, though many of them were reluctant over the years, many people were reluctant to join the course. Oh, palliative care is going to be one drudgery. It's only a supportive care. A lot of all kinds of excuses. But we had to push a lot of people to take up the course later. But after they took up the course, they really realized that there's so much they have learned in this course, and that's what they said it should have been done at the undergraduate level. And they also felt that the 3 days was not sufficient at all. Madam, can you have another 2 more days? Those things. I said, you people grumbled to even do 3 days, but today you're asking me for 2 extra days. We cannot do that. They said, no, we would want to have case discussions. That would have been really, we want to apply this. I said, there's Part B. So they said, no, if it had done in Part A also, it would have been really good. Okay, so these were the good feedbacks that we got for Part A. And after doing Part B, many of them were quite confident to apply all the Part A teachings while they were doing Part B. They felt more confident in and actually taking care of patient who requires palliative care. And also they said the way we manage, they've been taught to manage symptoms is quite different when they actually do it, in their regular practice. And communication, they said they didn't realize that communication, they had to improve their skills on communication because it had a huge impact on patient care. So that made a huge difference for them in their practice. And they felt this part B was also a guidance to start palliative care units. So these are the good feedbacks that I got. Of course, there were some of the negative ones, but I only wanted to pick up the positive ones, and why I will share to you. I'll tell you a little later. Now, from the views of our center coordinator, from our view, what I felt was, I know a lot of people shared the footfalls about the IAPC course, what are the issues that we had, and what are the improvements that we need to do. And over the years, a lot of improvement has happened in the entire course, whether it's case reflection, content materials, whatever it is. There has been a lot of improvement, which I don't want to contribute more because there are a lot of people having good ideas. But for me, I felt that no matter what, we have reached a level where anybody who's coming in for the course, they have learned something about palliative care. Doctors from taluk levels, district levels, they have been benefited. How much they put into practice, how much they're actually reading about it, I don't look at it very negatively. I don't look at whether we need to do drastic improvement to enroll more doctors. No, whatever we are doing is more than enough and sufficient to ensure that people know about palliative care and how we can take this forward. If 100 people are doing this course, 10 people take this forward, I think it's going to make a big impact overall over the years. So I feel, so there are many people who come only for certification because they want to go abroad, they want to, initially I used to think, are you only coming for certification? Don't you think you want to learn about palliative care? So they keep mum. But I said, even if it's certification, it just doesn't matter. He knows something about palliative care, and one person will tell 10 more people about palliative care. And that is how it is going to be. It is going to spread across, and more people will learn about palliative care. And a case reflection, yes, when we started case reflection, I'm sure Dr. Lulu knows, when we started case reflection in the beginning, I was the first batch. We had enormous effort. We had to put in an enormous effort to bring out a very good case reflection. It used to be like a booklet. So much of work we had to do over one patient. In fact, I did 2 case reflections, but we had to do a lot of work. But over the years, case reflection became very, very simple, to the point that each one copied from the other. Somebody last year's case reflection. So I'm just wondering whether case reflection, how much personally, how much really is it going to benefit the person who's just copied something and just posted it? So I'm not sure about taking case reflection and making it very strict, because no matter what, somebody is going to copy of something. So I feel personally, if they feel that, yes, they want to make a difference for themselves, professionally, for themselves, personally, for themselves, they should work out a case reflection without really copying somebody else's. But overall, I feel this IAPC has brought out this course is wonderful, and I don't want to point out any mistakes because we're all wonderfully doing. The textbooks are great. More and more national faculty is coming forward, and I can see the spread. So I only want to talk about positivity of IAPC, and I thank everybody. Dr. Lulu, who's taken great pains in taking this forward, and Nisha, who's been a strong support all the time when we do this palliative care course. So I really thank, and I thank Sushma also, and I thank each one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I speak now?
Yes.
So I have heard everyone, Dr. Lulu and everyone. And Prabha, I'm very happy that last speaker, you were the last speaker. And I have something similar opinion, that IAPC has at least started something, essentials of palliative care. This is not a course where actually we are good palliative care physician, and we have started expecting too much from this course. This was a course which was meant to sensitize people that what exactly the palliative care, essentials of palliative care. So something like in your hospital, oncologist wants to learn palliative care, they should attend this course. They should come to the palliative care club, hospital, your ward, and they should learn communication skills. So this was our purpose. But anyway, we are improving the standard so that, and if somebody out of 100, if 10 people wants to practice palliative care in future, they have to learn more. They have to learn more. They have to do advanced courses, or they have to practice. If not advanced courses, they have to go somewhere in the palliative care where the good palliative care is going on. They have to learn on patients, like clinical attachment and something. So I think, according to me, IAPC course has done a great job all over country. Now it's coordinators' responsibility to make sure that the participants are attending well. People are not skipping their exams. They are also doing part B for 10 days clinical training, so that they will learn morphine titration and communication skills basically in the ward. When a mentor is doing this, they will learn and they will practice it. So it is coordinator's responsibility. Now, one more important thing which we should not forget, that all the faculty members and coordinators, they are volunteers, and they are doing their own job regularly. So they are 100% on some or the other jobs, and still they are doing these IAPC courses. They are conducting courses, they are taking classes, they are doing training. When people are coming for our clinical attachment, I think it becomes my responsibility that the whole day for 10 hours I am there with the participants, 10 hours. So the people, those who have come to my hospital, they know that whole day I am with them, either for the ward rounds, either for the patient, with the patients, or for the OPD. So we are working, everybody is doing their volunteer. So but still in palliative care we are tuned to do work like this. So I think IAPC is doing a great job. Dr. Lulu and Nisha definitely working very, very hard. And with Dr. Lulu and Nisha, all other faculty members, those who are helping, they are doing a great job. And just I will take 1 minute more. In COVID era, we were very, very anxious that how to continue these courses, and we have started online courses, and online courses came out to be the better. I think it is a better till the time the coordinators make the responsibility that at least my candidates are attending regular classes. And if we will make it more interactive, because it has become a lecture based, so people tend to skip or make their video off, and if we will make it interactive, I think we can definitely innovate in the online classes also. So we did this, and then came Dr. Kalpana, who has helped us in making the online exams also. It was a great success, although again there was problem. There were a problem in the first exam, and then in the second exam we improved a lot. So subsequently we are improving. See, we do not have a lot of money to spend on IT sectors. We don't have money to spend on honorary, to give honorary to our faculty. Still we are doing. And I think if somebody will ask me, in AIIMS it is creating a lot of changes, because all the oncologists are attending IAPC course, and they are not attending IAPC course to become palliative care physician, but they are attending IAPC course to learn what exactly the palliative care is, how to prescribe morphine. If a patient is having overdose of morphine, how I can handle. And they are also learning communication workshop, communication. So I think we are on the right track. Again, we have to improve a lot, and all the points which people have to, or everybody has said, that Dr. Lulu has mentioned, we will try. I think 1 hour was not enough. That's why we have taken 1.5 hours, and I think it's going to be now 2 hours. So next time we will give enough time for this coordinators workshop, and we will allow everybody to speak their consensus, their concern. But definitely we will try to improve these courses further. And I think this is what. And regarding the certificate, Dr. Preeti, if people are not getting certificate, please this may be maybe because of the COVID or because of the change of the secretariat, this must have happened. But definitely, Nisha, Sarita, everybody is trying their level best that certificates should go in time. If your certificates are not going in time, you can contact me so that I can follow up. But definitely, if certificate will not come in time, people will get discouraged. So I think we will take care of this aspect definitely. And again, I will request that coordinators will have to take a lot of responsibility during online classes, that their students should attend, and the people should come up and do the part 2 program, and they will have to teach them during their clinical attachment. So this is what I want to say about this course, and thank you very much, Nisha and Dr. Lulu, for organizing this session. I know there are 37 centers and all others have not. I told Nisha that we will ask everybody to make a poster. But you know, it was not possible to ask everyone and then follow everyone. So Nisha has decided that we will ask 6 or 7 centers to speak, and on the basis of their feedback, we will discuss our findings. So thank you very much. And it's a long day. It was a long day. Now it's going over. I'm very happy. Now I will sleep. So everybody, it was a long day. So but the conference started online, and it started with a great success, according to me. So,
I must thank Madam for all the effort from everybody.
Dr. Badani, all the efforts are aapka hai. The main effort is yours.
Okay, Madam. Tomorrow is doctor's workshop and other things but it was seen maximum 350 persons at a time, inauguration and others. It's a very good attendance, rather better than offline conferences, I can say.
Yes.
Yeah, because I just asked Nandan, he told at a time maximum 350 persons were, and they were for very long time. I think it's okay. It's dinner time. I must thank the whole team, and you also, you give a lot of time today. We can close now. Tomorrow is infotainment session and quiz. That is like some entertainment in academics. Let us see how it goes first time. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. And Dr. Lulu, one more suggestion, that maybe after the conference, in between some time, we will find out one day, for half day, we will discuss only the IAPC course with all the coordinators. And
we can have a Zoom meeting in between with WhatsApp things, and we can discuss. There are a lot of things to say. Even I also wanted to say, but it's too late. So I think it's enough for today.
I know it's enough now. It is enough for everybody. I think everyone is tired and they got
so it can be arranged.
Please let us know when the meeting would be for coordinators.
We will let all the coordinators know about this.
Yes.
Maybe we will plan, because we have taken a lot of responsibilities, IAPC suddenly, but definitely we have to improve the programs which are going on. So one of the biggest program and best program is IAPC